Starstruck.
This episode of the Joyride podcast brought to you by Douchebags on Motorcycles. Try douchebag on motorcycle. Your insurance company will hate you. Douchebag on motorcycle.
Hello and welcome to Joyride. I am Jared Brandon Flandy
and I'm Kyle Dotterman.
And this is the show that's about the journey and not the destination. Mr. Kyle, we are here.
We are here. We are fighting the soundboard.
We got it though. Everything's
fine. We are good to go now.
Mm-hmm.
We were in a fist fight there with the soundboard for a minute. So
listeners, we are of the highest quality here, even if your hosts aren't of the highest quality.
It's true.
Okay, so let's see here. Before we sat down here, Kyle was showing me his twerking skills. It was impressive.
Yeah, upside down on the wall, all kinds of things.
This is Peter Parker at the club.
Yes.
So, this is a big one. Ladies and gentlemen, germs and people and
worms
and animals, okay? This is another 6-parter, so similar to The Barefoot Bandit, but a completely different story, obviously. A lot of joyrides, I've noticed, tend to either have to do with criminals or just general screw-ups as of late. And this one, I was like, okay, we need to do something, not that the other ones aren't funny, of course. Let's do something a bit inspiring is what the attitude about this one was, or the inspiration, okay? But this is still nonetheless a typical joyride hero overall.
Okay.
So don't be disappointed, everyone, because you won't be.
I mean, if you're not a little bit inspired by Malcolm Brickland failing upwards for 2 episodes, then I don't know what to tell you.
So this one is entitled "The Mad Mechanic of Belfast," Harry Ferguson. All right. There are those who go through their entire lives with simply existing, experiencing what life already offers seems to be enough for them. But for some people in this world, simply existing and experiencing what life has to offer is simply not enough. They need to create, influence, and make the world a better place. These people can come from all walks of life and can come from anywhere. They tend to live by their own rules and live life on their own terms. And one man from Ireland certainly lived up to all of this.
All right. Have we had an Irish story before?
I don't think we have. We're pushing almost 50 episodes, so even I can't keep track anymore. I don't think we have. This might be our first Irish one.
We need a wiki.
Yeah. So we've done some kind of gone a little bit into the British territory, but I don't think we've ever really got into Ireland. So
careful.
Yes. And Ireland specifically as the island, okay, and the people on it.
And we're talking about Belfast, so we're talking about Northern Ireland.
Yes,
so.
We'll get into that.
Yeah. Jared's address is...
No. There's, first of all, we generally keep the politics out of the show, so I am not supporting either side of that issue, okay? So there's the disclaimer for this entire episode. I'm just reporting on what's happening, okay?
We're just... Listeners, we're covering all our bases and all our holes for you, the listening audience.
You're covering your holes?
Oh, it's open right now, but
let's stick to the script here. before this gets worse. So Harry Ferguson was born November 4th, 1884 in County Down, Ireland. His family would ultimately consist of 11 children. How would that mean to have 10 siblings?
I have 2, and that's already a lot. Yeah.
It was
yeah. At a certain point, it's like, a get-together is like...
You have 2. I knew you had a brother. Who's the other one?
I have an older brother.
You have an older, so you have 2 brothers. Okay.
Yes, I have 2 brothers. Yeah.
All right. So that makes you the...
Middle.
Oh, so am I.
Hey.
Yeah, so this is what the middle children
The Joyride podcast
brought to you.
Brought to you by the middle child.
So,
the middle child. Wait, you're still around here? ?
Even though he was christened Henry George, he preferred to go by Harry.
Okay. Bad decision. Henry, objectively a better name than Harry, but I'll allow it.
We just started too, so here we go.
It's a feisty episode.
Yeah. The Fergusons of Ulster would eventually become the Fergusons of Ulster, which would eventually become a part of Northern Ireland, were not a wealthy family, but were not poor either, since Harry's father James owned his own farm of about 100 acres. Mm-hmm. The Fergusons came from old Scottish stock who were sent to Ulster to work the plantations about 200 years beforehand. His father was a devout Christian and has also been described as a raging bigot.
Oh. Oh, well. All right. Okay. That one got me. That was sudden.
Harry's mother, Mary, on the other hand, came from a much more progressive family. Mary's father, Graham Bell, and not the telephone guy, was especially open-minded. And after the death of his first wife, he would remarry and have 2 more daughters, who he encouraged to become the first female doctors in Ireland.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. As mentioned earlier, there were 11 children, 3 girls and 8 boys, and visits to their mother's family were moments of happiness and joy compared to the fire and brimstone atmosphere their father James routinely cultivated. Despite his stern father, Harry proved from a young age to be rather self-assertive and spirited. For example, a farmhand who had a wheelbarrow wanted to get past him, so he said to the child, quote, "Move, Harry, you're in the way." "No," said Harry, "you're in Harry's way." And by the way, you've been really burning to do a British accent. Can you do Irish accents?
Let me cook that one up. I'll find the right place in the episode.
Well, there's going to be plenty of Irish and British accents to do in this one, so so buckle up.
See, see. Well, unfortunately, the distinction between Irish, British, and Scottish, just, there's a lot to unpack there, and I don't know if I'm a talented enough performer.
I have been to the Republic, and when you're in Dublin, they sound like Irish people, okay? I mean, it sounds like, a bit like Jimmy Rabbit from the Commitments, okay? It's pretty accurate. When you go over to the West, I asked what kind of tea I was having for breakfast, the waiter. I said Ireland, we had so it's a great tea. It's fucking grand. Have a nice day. It's like, you too.
You too, sir. You too, sir.
Everyone in Ireland's like, this is already you guys.
You can just visualize.
We like all Irish people, okay?
Yeah. I know Brits and I know Scots. I don't know any. I haven't been to Ireland, so I can't. I can't pull my knowledge. They are like. They are their own animal. I'd say. The English are a little bit more. Kind of keep to themselves. The Irish are a bit more flamboyant and like to talk. A little more outgoing. If I were to say anything, I know how to get the Irish audience back. Okay. All the British are wankers.
Yep. Okay. Yep. Our
it's the rocket ship of our Irish listenership taking off.
So let's see here, Harry. so get out of Harry's way, right?
Harry what?
Uh-huh. Aside from his feisty attitude, the young Irishman also seemed to have a knack for things of a mechanical nature, and he was certainly not shy about showing this knack. In the Ferguson house, there was a chest of drawers, and each of the children had a drawer of their own to safely store certain toys and keepsakes.
Yeah, I guess when you have 10 brothers and sisters, you don't get closets, you get drawers.
You get drawers. This being the late 1800s, toys and keepsakes of this time were such things as marbles, pocket knives, or pieces of string. I mean,
those are three objects of varying,
Well,
one of these things is not like the others.
It's like every movie from the 50s. The kids all just want to go down to the river and stare at it seems like. Or you could play with pocket knives,
Billy,
marbles,
can you believe that river is there?
Pretty much. This isn't the 70s where they have lawn darts, at least. We covered that last time.
I'm skewered.
So, with time, the majority of the Ferguson siblings began to notice their coveted possessions seemed to disappear and reappear in other places. It appears the culprit had rather cleverly figured out if they removed the top drawer, they could tweak the locks of the lower drawers in order to open them. It did not take long to figure out who the culprit was, since Harry's drawer was always in immaculate order.
Come on, Harry. You gotta fake a robbery in your own drawer.
When Harry was not messing around with locks or bossing farmhands around, all the Ferguson children, including him, were expected to work on the family farm.
Yeah, that's why he had 10 brothers and sisters, really.
There was one problem with this, which was Harry hated farm work. Part of the reason for this was during Harry's childhood, farm work was hard work. Some mechanization had occurred at this time in history, but not much. Mechanized power largely consisted of steam traction engines that could easily weigh 10 tons. Using these steam engines, plows could be pulled back and forth across a field. A plow, when being dragged through soil, creates a small ditch called a furrow, which is later filled with seed. Okay. A problem with these steam engines is they took a considerable amount of water and fuel. So these things are just beasts, in other words.
Yep.
Right. These machines were also expensive and were primarily used by large farm owners who could afford them. For the rest of the farming community, including Harry's family, the average family had to rely upon draft animals. So to plant a crop, a farmer would have to attach a plow to an animal, such as a horse, and have the horse pull the plow across a field, creating the furrows. It was tired and time-consuming work. And the only thing you had to look at was a horse's ass all day long. So I thought the marbles were bad, and this is a bit worse.
Well, that was what you had to look forward to. Hours of staring at horse ass followed by marbles. I mean, think about it. It's a pretty good life. Now we have Twitter, so.
Harry did not like such things of a... We don't have Twitter anymore.
We have X, the everything app.
That took me a second. I mean, we do have Twitter. We had Twitter and then ruined it, is what happened.
Exactly. Yeah.
Harry did not like such things of a tedious nature, and it also did not help he hated farm animals.
Not ideal.
Life at home was also just as troublesome. To escape the tendencies of their God-fearing father, Harry and his siblings would sneak any book they could find in the house that was not the Bible in order to quench their thirst for actual knowledge. By the time Harry had reached young adulthood, he even developed a severe dislike of religion. So this guy is already batting zero at this point in time, in some ways.
Yes. Did you say what, in the pecking order of the 11, where does he fall?
That's a good question. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah. He would even have strong arguments with the local preachers when they came to the house.
Oh, okay. Not ideal.
Yeah. Throughout his life, Harry considered himself an atheist or an agnostic at best. To perhaps help distract him from his complicated family life, Harry, along with his older brother Joe, became greatly interested in two things that had just recently been invented: automobiles and motorcycles. Joe, being the eldest, was the first to be able to leave the family farm, so he's made his way to the big city, Belfast, where he started his own car and motorcycle repair shop located on Shank Hill Road. If you live there, congratulations.
Shout out.
I've not been there, but I hope it's nice. When Harry was old enough, he had other plans in mind. Between his dislike of having religion shoved down his throat and his dislike of being forced to do farm work, he decided he was going to leave Ireland and immigrate to Canada.
Oh, Canada.
By the fall of 1902, he made serious plans and was about to get ready to board a ship to cross the Atlantic when Joe came to the rescue. Joe did not want to see his little brother go, so he suggested he could work as an apprentice at his shop in Belfast. Harry was so deeply passionate about cars that without a second thought, he decided not to go to Canada, but instead work for his brother.
He could have ended up squarely in the middle of our other story.
He could have, or at least his son could have
Yes.
in New Brunswick.
Yeah.
So, but that did not happen in this universe.
Yes,
So, okay.
in this timeline. This is not canon. Yeah.
Harry did not lose any time and soon began to learn the trade of being a mechanic. He found a particular niche by being able to figure out how to tune engines to run like a top. His talent became evident when he had to tend to the engine that ran the machinery in the shop. It routinely overheated, so Joe would task Harry with carrying buckets of water to cool it.
Just pour it on it.
Harry, not fond of manual labor, as we were well aware of, decided to do some tinkering when no one else was in the shop. He discovered the exhaust valve was opening far too wide. He adjusted it, and the engine began to purr like a contented cat in front of a warm fireplace.
Or a cool fireplace in this case.
He was more than eager to rub it in when his brother got back. Despite Harry's love of cars, he'd actually never driven one.
Okay. Yeah, it kind of tracks. I mean, not having a lot of money. It's still a very high luxury good. You know, we're only a few years into it being invented. Belfast is a big city, but it's a big city by Ireland standards. It's not a big city by world standards.
This changed when he got to drive a client's car one day, which he drove right into a shop window.
Yeah. Well, they were pretty hard to drive. I mean, they were like 37 handles.
Oh, you're already being sympathetic to him. I like
Yeah. They were complicated. But it's true. I mean, like they had levers and yeah.
Oh, yeah, they didn't work at this time for the most part. They didn't work like a car does today.
No, not at all. They were 99% doohickeys and doodads.
Despite Harry's Grand Theft Auto driving style during his youth, thank you, the repair shop began to grow steadily with more and more clientele being added to the rosters.
Yeah, well, not much. You got to...
all 7 people have a car.
All the 7 people on the island.
The growth continued despite the business being turned down for a bank loan of £300 since the bank felt there was, quote, no future for the automobile.
Wow. Batting zero there at the bank, are we?
When he was not tuning engines or driving cars through shop windows, Harry utilized his spare time by attending classes at the Belfast Technical Institute. The decor of this institution features stained glass windows, just like a church, but instead of praising prophets and saints, the windows praise the values of science and engineering, something Harry likely appreciated. Along with some helpful knowledge, Harry made a friend during his college days when he met John Williams, who would become a future business partner.
And composer.
Well, most people would not have made that joke, and I knew you were going to make that joke.
Yeah. So this was at the Belfast Technical College that he made this connection.
Mm-hmm. I don't think he graduated from it, but he did take classes there to kind of
back in the
his
day, it
knowledge.
was really more about knowledge than it was about the certifications necessarily.
Yeah.
Belfast was also a very well. I mean, if you can say anything to Belfast, it's a working class and technical.
It's a very industrial city. It still
city.
is, and especially is during this time though too.
Yeah.
Well, by the way, when I was in college, remember I never joined any of the frats. That didn't mean I didn't go to one of the frat parties. And
Where does this story go?
I got in an argument with this music major about how I thought that John Williams was the most recognized musician that ever lived.
Okay.
And then he thought it was Franz Liszt, and we got into an argument for a while.
He thought it was Franz Liszt?
Yeah, I thought it was Franz Liszt. And then I watched this video the other day, and it was a music academic saying that John Williams is the most recognized musician to ever exist. It's like, I want to find that guy.
I like the idea that you remember this. You've got this in the bag.
He was probably an out-of-towner. And that's the other thing I don't get. Why do people go out-of-state colleges for, like, really, like, degrees they can get in-state? If it's specialty, yes. But it's like, why do you go to University of Ohio to study psychology when you could have just studied psychology?
A lot of it is because I think a lot of college decisions have nothing to do with practicality. It's just about, it's more of the heart over the mind sometimes.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Okay, so, I know I've heard that. It's adventure, I'll grow. Okay, you're in a town of 30,000 people where the most exciting thing is eating Chinese food. And then when you're done, you're stuck with a $250,000 debt. You do what I did. You go to community college for free. You get a scholarship. Go to the other college 10 minutes down the road, and then you're done.
You won't hear any grousing from me about this perspective, but it's true.
And I get to do stuff like this with you.
What you see now more than we're totally off on a tangent now, but what you see a lot more now is my little brother went to a community college to play sports, and a lot of people go to that level and then they go to a private college because it's their next opportunity to play. And man, the delta between those two costs is unbelievable. You go from a community college where you might, with aid and everything, pay $5,500 to $7,000 for all your credits for the 2 years, to a private college where you may be paying $50,000 in tuition the next year.
It's a conundrum. So, yep, that's our viewpoints on college. That is pretty much the end of Harry's college days.
I'm not in college anymore.
So. Harry additionally befriended one of his clients, a wealthy gentleman named T. McGregor Greer. I know that's Scottish, but it sounds Scottish to me. This relationship would prove to be more than helpful as Harry progressed in his career throughout his life. When Harry was not tuning engines, he also had a keen sense regarding marketing and promotion. In order to help promote J.B. Ferguson Company, which is his brother's business, in 1904, Harry started participating in motorcycle racing, and come to find out, he was good at it. Harry would have some close calls, however, including one time when the fuel tank of his motorcycle blew up under him.
Probably one of the least desirable things that your fuel tank could do.
But in the spirit of this show, this did not deter him.
That would deter me. I'll just say that, audience. I would be deterred.
So, even though Harry appeared to be a bit fearless, he did not exactly fit the image of a bad boy rebel, since he was always impeccably dressed with his fair hair neatly combed. He even convinced Joe to race a bit, but when Joe almost ran into a dude on a bicycle, he lost interest in such a high-risk activity.
Joe was smart.
Harry continued to race, and since he had many talents, humbleness did not seem to be a characteristic he was naturally born with.
No, doesn't seem that way.
For example, when he competed in the Murati Trophy of 1907, and when the 200-mile motorcycle race was over, Harry and another racer by the name of Stewart.
Stewart.
That's all we know.
That's just Stewart.
I don't know if that's a first or a last. But...
Old Stewart. It was Stewart Little, actually. He was an anthropomorphic mouse.
And there was Ralph the mouse too with the little motorcycle.
Yeah,
isn't that what it was?
Yeah, they were stacked on. It was like it was a dual rider situation.
So him and Stewart had tied for first place as they both had accumulated the same amount of points. The race committee suggested they either share the trophy individually for 6 months before they passed it on to the other winner.
What a baby idea!
Yeah,
Come
I guess
on.
it's symbolic.
It's Ireland. At least fist fight.
Or they could ride another 200 miles to break the tie.
Oh, come on.
This is very reasonable, either case, right?
Either share it or this is was it a bunch of people from London that were figuring this out?
I'm going to try it here. Okay, so you either share the trophy for 6 months or you ride another 200 miles to break the tie.
That was good. That was solid. That was solid.
So I got to kind of recover from that now.
If I was in the room, I would just be saying, you know what, guys? Just throw hands. Let's just figure this.
I went to Kells. You been to Kells in Portland?
No.
The Irish pub. This is years ago. It was their St. Daddy's Day party. St. Patty's Day party.
That was a Pedro Pascal party.
I convinced two girls I was from Ireland just by doing that probably very bad accent, and they fell for it for like 15 minutes.
How drunk are you? Drunk enough to believe that this guy's Irish?
Yours is not bad either, so there you go. So, let's see here. So, okay. So, they're still either share it or, ride another 200 miles, right?
Okay.
Harry did not go for either option.
Yep.
He felt he was the winner and further accused Stewart of tampering with his motorcycle.
Yeah, those mice with their small hands.
So
and
decorum is a strong suit of his.
Yeah, indeed. Indeed.
Stewart, of course, protested this.
Yeah.
The committee, rather exhausted by the situation, finally said they had to race another 200 miles. Harry again refused, so the trophy ended up going to Stewart. It's like, we're done. We're washing our hands of this. Here
so
you go.
did Stewart have to ride the 200 miles?
No. Just after Harry just went, I'm not doing it. Fine, okay, Stewart wins.
Interesting.
Harry did not seem to be bothered by this, since the incident created a decent amount of publicity, which may have been the result he was actually after.
Yeah. Hey, that's kind of smart.
Mm-hmm. Despite all the attention he was receiving from his motorcycle racing, Harry wanted to participate in one of the most exciting pursuits of the time. So, this was the early 20th century, a time period of swift and radical technological advancement. Wireless communication had become possible. Cars were starting to be mass-produced. But there was one advancement that Harry was particularly interested in, and that was aviation.
It always comes back to that in this podcast, doesn't it?
It's always the red flag.
Yeah.
So, after the Wright brothers' famous flight in 1903, it did not take long for a fledgling aviation industry to blossom all over the world. The British Empire was nearing its peak, and by far was one of the most technologically advanced nations in the world, if not the most advanced. Oddly enough, according to Colin Fraser, the author of Harry Ferguson, inventor and pioneer, Britain, and Ireland for that matter, were both considered aviation backwaters at that time. A handful of planes had been built in Ireland in the early 1900s, but they did not achieve flight, so another certain someone in Ireland decided they were going to build their own plane and fly it.
I don't mean to be an ass, but like, if you build a plane and it doesn't fly, did you really build a plane?
I mean, the whole point of a plane is for it to fly. So, no, you probably did not. It's like Leonardo da Vinci. Now, Leonardo da Vinci is a hero of mine. I have traveled to Italy to look at his notebooks, okay?
Yeah.
I do think he gets a little too much credit for being an inventor, though, because none of his inventions ever left paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's sort of like, you got to kind of actually build the thing.
Yeah.
It's got to be something.
Yes.
Yeah. If you build a plane and it doesn't fly, I don't know. I don't think you're a plane builder. I think you're just an asshole who's trying.
This message brought to you by Kyle Donovan. Don't be an asshole. Make sure your plane flies.
I'm just saying. Well, I
I see what you're.
If you build a plane and it doesn't fly, I think you're
it's
just
not a plane.
I think you're just called Boeing at that point. You know it's coming. This message brought to you by Bombardier.
Hey, they make snowmobiles, so we can be nice to them.
There you
go. So Harry traveled to Blackpool in England and Reims in France to study and take measurement of other planes. With the research he had gathered from his travels, Harry went back to the workshop of J.B. Ferguson and Company to begin building his flying machine. The first engine selected to power the plane was made by Green, and when it arrived, Harry was burning to load test it right away. He was in such a hurry, however, that he used an old pulley with wire instead of a non-existent flywheel to test it.
Not good.
This turned out to be a bad idea since the pulley was not able to handle the engine, which caused fragments of it to blast outward in all directions. This easily could have killed someone, but fortunately no one was hurt.
That's good.
Another power plant ended up being fitted to the plane, which was an 8-cylinder, 35-horsepower JAP engine.
Who knew all you needed was 35 horses to fly?
Eventually, the plane began to take shape. Harry decided on a rather radical design for the time, which was a monoplane. In other words, only one set of wings, not two like a biplane.
Yep.
It's likely he was inspired by the Barreau monoplane of France. The aesthetics of Harry's plane were common for his time, but not for ours, since the wings were made with Irish linen instead of steel, for example.
Okay.
With the plane finally constructed, it was time to see if an Irishman really could fly. This being a time when runways were far and few in between, they had to find a reasonably smooth and lengthy area to get the plane up to speed. The chosen site ended up being Hillsborough Park, an estate owned by Lord Downshire. It conveniently was not far from the Ferguson house. That sounds more like I didn't want to work too hard.
Yeah. That whole paragraph came off as we went next door. Right. I like the idea that the runways were few and far between, but it was the olden days, like a big place where there wasn't a lot going on, relatively common. Mm-hmm. So, just do that.
So, the next challenge was to get the plane to Hillsborough Park. This was done by towing it with a car. To make the journey less complicated, the tail and wings were detached and tossed into the back of the car.
Okay.
So it's an air fix kit.
Yep.
At Hillsborough Park, the plane was reconstructed, and now it was time to see if Harry's creation really could soar into the wild blue yonder. There was still one little hiccup, which was Harry did not know exactly how to fly a plane.
Yeah, that would be an issue, I think. That would be a problem.
But since he did not know how to build one and did it anyway, he appeared to take the same attitude when it came to piloting it.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. Somebody's got to be the first, so this guy seems to be as good as any.
In December of 1909, Harry fired up his flying machine to conquer the skies for Ireland. Things did not start off well, however. The initial propeller was not performing well, so it was replaced with a new one that had a different design. This improved performance to a certain degree, but the plane had yet to take flight. Constant bad weather also caused delays.
It's Ireland and all.
It's kind of like Oregon's cousin. On the last day of December, Harry was adamant that he was going to fly while it was still 1909, even though weather conditions had not improved much, and many close friends begged him not to go through with the flight attempt. Harry, of course, did not listen and fired up the plane anyway. A reporter from the Belfast Telegraph was present during that day, and he later wrote, so this is from the newspaper, all right? Quote, "The roar of the 8 cylinders was like the sound of a Gatling gun in action. The machine was set against the wind, and all force being developed, the splendid pull of the new propellers swept the big airplane along as Mr. Ferguson advanced the lever. Presently, at the movement of the pedal, the airplane rose into the air at a height from 9 to 12 feet, amidst the hearty cheers of the onlookers. The poise of the machine was perfect, and Mr. Ferguson made a splendid flight of 130 yards. Although fierce gusts of wind made the machine wobble a little, twice the navigator thudded her by bringing her head to the wind. Then he brought the machine to earth safely, after having accomplished probably the most successful initial flight that has ever been attempted upon an aeroplane."
I was surprised you didn't go with the Irish accent for that.
That one was long. I don't know if I can hold it that
Fair
long. I will humor you more as we go on.
Fair enough. I'm just giving you shit. Well, not bad.
We like having fun of these. I do try to make these a little educational. We make twerk jokes. Oh, I learned something. I meant to tell you.
Oh.
So in the last episode, so sorry if you have not listened to it, listeners, but the twerp twirl dance. The woman is required to pay. It's literally those school dances where the girls have to ask out the guy.
There you go. It adds up. Adds up. Yep.
So, which I think needs to happen more, because then men can feel like know what it feels like to be treated like a piece of meat.
You can show up to a bar and you can talk in an Irish accent, and then you can get girls to take you to twerp twirls.
Yeah, then girls can learn what rejection feels like. So everyone has something to learn here.
It's educational for all.
Yep. So Harry had proved an Irishman really can fly, but being Harry, he was not exactly modest about his success. In a 1910 issue of the magazine Flight, You already have one.
Wow.
That's the first thing.
Get on it.
Yeah, once some subculture pops up before the internet, a magazine instantly was created. Yeah. Harry started making bold claims, such as he wanted to be the first person to fly over the Irish Sea. Naturally, he did have his critics, of which Harry sparred with continually in the form of written letters. So like texting, but a lot slower.
It's like haters on Twitter. So
Dear sir,
you are a bitch. Signed.
They're waiting for another 7 weeks.
Just doing the whole. Can you believe what that man said in that letter that arrived on the 5th of November?
All right. So, to counter his critics, he decided it was time to go on tour to demonstrate what his plane really could do. In April of 1910, his first stop was County Antrim. His flight attempts there were not exactly great, but he did have a somewhat successful flight of about 100 feet.
Okay, that seems about where we're at here.
Yeah.
100 feet seems to be the
benchmark.
What we need to get.
2 months later, he continued his tour by travelling to Milligan Strand in County Derry at the tip-top of Ireland. This time his joyrides were far more successful, including a flight that travelled over 2.5 miles with an average altitude of 40 feet.
Wow.
Imagine seeing that fly over you. Some sky demon.
Children, get
what
inside.
What the hell is that?
Get inside.
Mary. She's like, you've been drinking again, haven't you? Well, I'm Irish. I'm always drinking. I just been drinking more, and I saw a goddamn sky demon.
The devil's finally come for us. Been choking my chicken too much. The devil's finally come to taking me. It's just some poor bastard up there already been taken. Christ alive, nobody's safe.
He looked just like Harry Ferguson.
He's got a Harry what?
Oh, God. Let's see here. So, the flight at Milligan Strand was not just to show off, however. It was to prepare for an aviation event to be held in Ireland, which was the Grand Aerial Display and Sports Meeting that would take place on July 23rd, 1910.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, I'm doing the looking for my places.
This is all going to be cut out, so I can say whatever I want.
No, it's not that much. To make the event even more enticing to a semi-suicidal aviation premiere, there would be a cash prize of £100 for the first person, which is like $7 million.
Yeah, 1/3 of that bank loan they got turned down for earlier. So
for the first person to achieve a flight of 3 miles with an altitude of 40 feet.
That'd be really hard to measure. I guess it'd be in one direction. Is there like a finish line?
Harry, of course, was shooting for the win. Since Harry was the only one who was participating in the competition, this did increase his chances of winning.
Well, what if there was another guy and then they both did the 3 miles and then they said, well, you either have to share the prize or then you have to fly another 3 miles.
Well, we know what would happen there. But,
yeah.
But he still had to complete the small task of flying an airplane basically built out of toothpicks and pantyhose, a total of 3 miles. So the Ferguson team set up shop not in a hangar, but instead at the Sleve Donard Hotel that overlooks the beach at Newcastle.
Very nice.
The attendees of the event were arriving by train, while the Ferguson team were reassembling the plane in the front lawn of the hotel. Harry was wearing white overalls, which of course were immaculate. They moved the plane down to the beach, which would function as a makeshift runway. With the plane ready, the onlookers lined the windy beach, waiting with bated breath to see the fate of this intrepid Irishman. And that is the end of part 1.
All right.
Now, if you are liking this one thus far, there's 5 more parts after it. So
it's good to know.
Okay.
I'm excited to know not only a couple things. Well, the first thing would be, I like early aviation stories because it really is just a bunch of people building shit out of toothpicks and then flying and hoping they live through it. My other favorite part is just to learn more about this guy being put into situations because he's quite the character. So, that you have that to look forward to.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's that saying, I'm paraphrasing, science is basically just screwing around and seeing what happens.
Yeah.
Good science. So that's basically what he's doing. All right, everyone. So that is The Mad Mechanic of Belfast, Harry Ferguson, Part 1, to be continued. Other than that, please check out our social media links in the description box. Leave us a comment or a like, preferably a nice one, but it really is ultimately up to you. Let's see here. And if you want to throw us a few bucks on Patreon, we, of course, would greatly appreciate that. Other than that, that's what I got, Kyle.
That's all I got. If you leave a bad review, you'll be finding me out behind the bar.
Doing what? Being Irish?
Yeah.
All right, on that note, we'll bring things to a close, and we'll catch you next time.
See ya.
Signing out.